Welcome to the Heartfulness Introduction to the Basics sessions. These sessions are going to be happening over the course of next few months, and we have the amazing Auntie Mullapudi, who's going to be taking charge of those sessions. Through these sessions, we're going to learn some basics of heartfulness and before we dive into it, I'll give a quick introduction about Amandi, how long she's been with the heartfulness practice, and then we can dive into the session. So, Uma Malapudi has been a practitioner for 49 years and has been a trainer for 39 of those years. She serves as the Heartfulness Outreach Program Coordinator for North America. She has successfully balanced a professional career in administration and accounting before retiring in 2003 to dedicate herself fully to the community service. Uma's professional experience includes roles at Dayton-based organizations such as Workflow One, National City Bank, Bank One, and contractors supporting Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. She conducts weekly meditation sessions at various Dayton area institutions, including hospitals, schools, universities, peace museums, law firms, and county offices. Additionally, Uma also teaches heartful living classes globally, sharing her belief in joy, silence, and the transformative benefits of meditation. So I'm going to give it off to Auntie to start the session, but quickly before that, if we can all turn on our videos, it would be great for the session. We will be able to see each other and interact better. And also Q&As will be at the end of the session. So if you do have questions that pop up, feel free to drop them in the chat box and we will get to them at the end of it. Thank you. Over to you, Auntie.
Thank you, Namrata. Thanks for the warm welcome. Happy to be talking to our West Coast participants. So today, we like to welcome all of you on a 6 weeks journey of trying to understand what heartfulness is all about and why heartfulness. What is heartfulness trying to teach individuals in our society? How can it impact our life positively? Why should we even practice this? So, I want to give you all a brief introduction from the beginning. I understand some of you have been practicing for a long time, and some of you for probably just few years. But once in a while, it is always good to go to the basics, see where we started and where we are heading, and what our understanding is. As the more and more as I traverse on this journey, my understanding is that I know very little. When I was young, I thought I knew everything. As I practice more deeply, now I'm understanding there is so much more to learn, so much more to become. One lifetime is not enough. But anyway, so to begin with, Heartfulness Institute is a non-profit educational organization for wellness, and its affiliation is with peace programs. The goal is about establishing peace in individuals and thereby in our communities. With this noble goal, some 75 years ago, just ignore the video messages and let us just focus on the content. And wait for the chat also. Usually I get very distracted when this chat flows on. Thought doesn't flow. So let us just pause, center ourselves, and see what the message is about. What are we here to learn? So some 75 years ago, Heartfulness Institute came into existence with one of the first teachers of the organization, who simply started to practice a particular method. And in his meditation sessions, as he was practicing, he discovered some yogic techniques, as you call methods. Why it was called yogic techniques is in ancient India, for a new invention, that's what they called. It was all about techniques, how they utilized for the transformation of the being. Like if I was born in America, I would probably be named Alice or something. Since I am born in India, my name is Uma. So also, some of these words that we use, they're just words because the origin is from India. But truth is the truth. Essence is the same wherever we are in the entire world. Truth is the same. So, this great master who experimented on his own life, meditating, and he discovered certain techniques which can help humanity to arrive at a state of balance. Because if you really look at spirituality, it is not about God realization, as everybody thinks. The word spiritual means it is something to do with God. You have to leave everything and move towards renunciation and vairagya, but it is not true. Spirituality, the great teachers, are all reformers of the society. As the society needed some selfless individuals, instead of just focusing on their own selfish goals, they tried to help their communities where they are by giving them a way of life. If you look at Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, Patanjali was a sage who gave a way of life to the society at that time, trying to help human beings who were getting lost. At different times, there were different masters who have mastered different subjects. If you look at ancient India, there was masters like Shankaracharya. He was an expert in logic. His field was Tarka Shastra, as it is called. It basically means science of logic. He tried to train human beings to think logically. So every master, whether it was who taught politics, kings were taught politics. There were great mathematicians. Everybody tried to teach human beings to make them better. And in the process of life, somewhere, something overutilization of the mind made human beings lose the very basic thing, which was balance. They lost the ability of the mind. Instead of the ability of the mind to learn all these things, to become better human beings, we totally went into just living a mundane life, having fun, and overutilization of the senses happened, which brought us to this degraded state of losing the balance. When the main thing is lost, when the foundation of the house is not proper, you cannot build a house. When that main thing was balanced, when that was lost, human beings were lost. They could not master anything. That is why we lost our ancestors' expertise. We do have experts now in the external world, but still, even somebody like Steve Jobs at the time of his death said, I wish I spent more time with my family. I wish I spent more time with spirituality. Why? If achievement was be all and end all, why did all these great scientists, achievers bring that statement? Because the core was missing, the balance, the peace, the calmness, which is the foundation for the human being, is missing. So, what do reformers do? Whom we call spiritual guides or mentors or masters. If I was born in America, I will just call them by name. If I'm born in India, I call them master, guru, whatever with reverence. What did these reformers do? They wanted to bring human beings back to their fullest potential. We lost our fullest potential by going outward, experting in every way, specializing in every way. We forgot this main thing of the human being, the balance, the steadiness, the peace, the calmness. If they are there, we really flower in any field that we are at, whether I can be a housewife, expert physician, expert scientist, expert teacher. We can flourish in every field that is in the human existence. But in spite of our excellence in all those fields, we lack peace. And that is why these masters, whether it be Sage Patanjali, or the great scientist Lalaji, or the great scientist Babuji, or the current teacher Daji, what they are trying to do is give human beings a way of life. And funny thing is, what they gave in the past exactly coincides with the science of now. So that's why I want to give you a scientific perspective of heartfulness and the yogic perspective of heartfulness. One, what heartfulness exactly means. According to science, according to neuroscience, in a given week, if you are able to just sit back, relax, calm, and keep silent for few hours in a given week, whether it's 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, half an hour there, few hours, if a human being can just be silent, science says that your frontal brain regenerates new cells. And frontal brain is all about balance, emotional stability, and ability of creativity. So, which is what we lost? We lost our balance, we lost our emotional stability mainly, and we lost the ability of creativity. And by simple practice of being quiet, the frontal brain regenerates new cells. And so, what did all these sages are teaching us? The so-called sages we gave them, the mentors, they're telling us, take 20 minutes off, close your eyes, give your senses a break, go into the heart and rest in the heart, and we'll help you to meditate. And in the yogic philosophy, they do all these breathing exercises. If you look at people nowadays, yoga is famous. Everybody who does yoga, they're very relaxed at the end of that day. They all love that shavasana, lying down like a corpse. Why are they relaxed? They're breathing. They are consciously breathing. So for this, the ancestors gave this name, Ida, Pingala, Sushumna, all these names that none of us could understand. Even after being on the path for 50 years, I can't remember some of those names. I have to remind myself. Right? Basically, what it means is if you close your right nostril and you breathe through your left nostril, your parasympathetic nervous system gets affected and you calm down. That is one of those nadis of nadi means nervous system. This Ida, Pingala is parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems. So basically, what the ancient sages mean and what our science is telling us, close your right nostril, breathe through your left nostril, your parasympathetic nervous system gets affected, you calm down. That is why in meditation, you relax your body, you take deep breaths, you let go. And same thing if you close your left nostril and you breathe through your right nostril, sympathetic nervous system gets affected and you become alert. Because if you want to be an achiever, you don't want to just be calm and sleeping. We don't want that to happen to our children, do we? So both nostril breathings is you become calm and you also become alert. And that's when efficiency manifests. So what spirituality is teaching is not people to become lazy people and go into jungles and uh, just take it easy, forget about your duties, forget about your life. That's not what. Spirituality is trying to bring the full potential of a human being. And that is why they called it awakening. I want to read a statement from Sage Narada. He existed thousands of years ago. And what he calls the goal of life is, he says, the state of the divine is the fullness of what you can become. So they gave that word divine because they did not know what else to say. Full potency of the human being. It's the perfect zero nothingness. So they called it divine, God, whatever you want to name it. But at ultimate potency is what you want to become. That means our potency is lost, human potency. Even according to science, only a certain percentage of our brain function is happening. And with that certain percentage itself, so much evolution is happening. Imagine if we properly took care of our mind, what can happen to the human being? And that's what happened to the masters. They practiced it on themselves. And even they don't have to sit in front of you. They are sitting in Kanha, you are sitting here. They're able to feel you. That is the potency. That is the level of awareness of their consciousness. So all the words consciousness, awareness, it is all their refinement of their inner being. And that is what meditation did to them. So what is meditation? How do we respond to the world? How do we live in this world? Where are these thoughts coming from? Where is the foundation of our thoughts? It all starts with the stems from this foundation of feeling. How do you feel? If you feel happy, you have positive thoughts, you radiate positive, your actions are positive. Because of that repeated action, your habits are positive. Because your habits are positive, your character is positive, and your destiny is positive. Where did everything stem from? The feeling. When our mind got affected and overutilized, senses were overutilized, what got disturbed is the state of the feeling, which is consciousness. This is our energy field. We all know how to take care of our body. We eat right, we exercise, we sleep good. Women will get our massages. But if your mind is disturbed, do you even have the feeling to eat? When you are depressed, you don't eat. When you are depressed, you don't exercise. When you are stressed out, you don't sleep. So even for the body to perform at its right way, your mind has to be balanced. And this is what Harvard research proved. Harvard research proved that there is three things that bring the balance to the human mind: exercise, meditation, and prayer. That is taking care of your body, your mind, and spirit. Like I said, we know how to take care of the body. But when your mind is disturbed, you can't take care of the body. And when it comes to prayer, everybody has different religious beliefs, different spiritual beliefs, different belief systems. But when your mind is disturbed, wherever you are, whether you are in a church or a temple or a mosque or at your own room, sitting in your bed praying, when your mind is disturbed, pulled in different direction, are you able to tap into that inner silence, inner peace, inner calmness, for which you go to the temple or a mosque to find that peace? When your mind is like husband, wife, children, problem, anger, hatred, this person said that, oh, this person should not be here. Always the mind is focused on so many things. You are not able to tap into that inner silence. So why did these religious practices include this silence? Because they knew that would bring you to balance and make this foundation of the feeling peaceful. But we are unable to do that. So that is what meditation is all about. Meditation is when your body is tired, what do? You rest. When your mind is tired, overworked, your senses are overutilized, senses have gone out so much that it is so disturbing. What do? You give mind rest. And that is what meditation is. And that is why the sages have created a path. If you look at the yoga of Patanjali, the first one is like they give you discipline, speak the truth, love your neighbor. Every teacher said that. Why? Because you can't go kill somebody and find your mind be at peace. So they taught first the moral discipline, and then second, what you should not be doing. It's like we tell our children. Why do we tell our children? We can leave our children to whatever, right? We don't. We tell them what is good, what not to do. So we are teaching our children a way of life for success and happiness. What is it that you want your children to be? You want them to be successful? You want them to be happy? If your child is very successful and it's depressed and trying to run away from home, are you happy? No. So you are giving a way of life to your children. Same thing these reformers gave a way of life to communities where they were. I mean, I can't go teach in some little town in India. I can only be where I am and teach. So those people know me. So like that, there were so many masters, many lives. There's so many masters, spiritual people that were selfless beings that tried to help humanity to create a way of life. So in this process, first do's, what you don't do. Then comes this breathing, which I talked about. And then is posture. Posture allows your energy to flow. And also, the clogs have to be removed if the energy has to flow, like the ducts in your house. If they're all clogged and if they're in crooked way, will your AC work? No, you have to get that guy to clean the ducts, allow the energy to flow freely. Same way, in our human energy system, with posture, we have to allow the energy to flow freely. That is why they gave a posture. And they gave different postures for physical wellness, physical fitness. Because without that physical activity and being physically fit, you are not active and you cannot go do perform externally, bring the excellence out of yourself. And then the next step is called pratyahara in Sanskrit. What basically it means is diverting your overworked senses from out into yourself, into the heart's field of silence. And that's what neuroscience said. Just be silent and your frontal brain regenerates new cells. And this is exactly what the sages have said, the scientists of the past. Close your eyes, divert your attention inward to the silence of your heart and allow these senses and the main sense, your mind, to rest in that silence. And then next is the flow. It's called dhara. Dharana means flow. Our thought is flowing and it is continuously flowing outward. And that habit has become so powerful, it is very difficult to move it in. That is why if you look at the riverbed also, once a path is formed, unless somebody goes and digs and changes the direction, the path won't change. It keeps going in the same groove. So even our thought to go inward is very difficult. And that is where the heartfulness helps. How does heartfulness help you to meditate better? Is with this vibratory field known as transmission. When a person of a caliber transmits that vibration to you, your thought, instead of going outward, it starts to gently move into the silence of your heart. And the moment that happens, you move into a state of rest, which is known as dhyana meditation. And when that rest gets stable over practice, it becomes an absolute state of balance, which is known as samadhi. Everybody thinks so samadhi means you have achieved God. No. Samadhi means literally means absolute balance of the human being. And that is the field of the feeling. When that feeling is stable, you produce good thoughts, and that way you have good habits, and your good habits lead to good actions to good habits to good character to good destiny. That feeling is what strengthened, and that's what human beings we lost. We lost the ability of being balanced. And that is what the focus of heartfulness. The focus of heartfulness is to transform disturbed human beings However successful we are in whatever fields we are still disturbed human beings who do not know how to be calm and how to maintain that calmness. We are calm for some time. And within an hour after meditation, we go out and next thing, everything is disturbed. So that is what the absolute balance is. Absolute balance is that state where that calmness is not disturbed. Even some of you who heard about the Hinduism and Bhagavad Gita, we have different Bibles, scriptures where they have coded all these journey of the beings to their mastery. Because the essence of Bhagavad Gita is a human being attains skill in action, he struggles for self mastery, and he becomes a selfless servant. That is the essence. They don't say that you become losers and go into the world. In the Bhagavad Gita, a person who was a warrior, who was a skilled warrior, who had everything, who was a king, but at one moment he lost his balance. So, what did the master do? Gita was an interaction between a disciple and a disciple who lost the balance, and a master. In that 0 hour, what could he do? He could not give 100,000 verses or write a book on that 0 hour of the war. What he did was he transmitted a vibration where the disciples' thought that was disturbed moved into the field of the heart. And when it moved into the field of the heart and moved into the silence, when this transmission established that silence in the being, the feeling was established, the condition was established. So this person who lost balance became balanced. Because of that balance, he became peaceful. Because he was peaceful, he lost his emotional disturbance. He became emotionally stable. And because of that emotional stability, he regained his courage. And because he regained his courage, he re-established his clarity. The Sanskrit words for all this is like balance, peace, emotional stability, courage. The final destination is clarity, clear vision. And they use the word called viveka. And to arrive at that state of viveka, what do you need to do? You need to meditate. So what is meditation? You need to sit quietly and calmly and tap into this inner resource of the human being that came from birth. When you are born to your parents, you acquire certain things from the parents. You may hate your parents, love your parents. In a lot of our kids, when they are teenagers, they argue. Oh, I am not like you, mom. And 20 years later, like, oh God, I am just like my mom. We all know that. So you cannot deny it. The genes are the genes. You are a part of your parenthood. Your parents gave it to you, whatever you are. We are the part of that ultimate source, the beginning, wherever it began. And that source, the sages called, source, they call God, they call this and that. But you have an essence of that, a speck of that, whatever you name it, inside you. And that you, when it is sleeping and you are not able to tap into it, you are not in your full potential. For you to arrive at your full potential, to perform at your full potency, to master yourself, every moment you should be in connection with that money. It's like your bank account. Your parents gave you a big bank account, and you are so blind, you are not tapping into that bank account. And you are trying to go everywhere begging for money. What all you have to do is open that account, go reopen that account, make it, it goes into sleep mode. Even your computers, you don't use them, they go into sleep mode. Your accounts get frozen. This inner potency of the human being is frozen. And you need to awaken that. And that's why they called it awakening, realization. But basically, it is tapping into your utmost inner potency and bringing the best out of yourself and living a joyful, peaceful life. Do you ever see sages, any of these them being depressed, crying? They have a joy. That's why we like to go to them. It's contagious. So, in the heartfulness way, also, just like these sages created a way, the masters have done so many research that they were able to create a method with which by simply following the method, you arrive at these states. It's like me. I'm not a computer expert. It means 2003 to 2025. It's been 20 years since I worked. I'm happy I'm not working, but so I lost touch with all this computer stuff. But one of these girls like Ramya or somebody, Josna, they say, Auntie, you do this, you do this, you do this. And next thing I know, I am like talking like an expert on this Zoom class. I just followed the instructions. So also the heartfulness guides, they gave a method, a way of living. And because of their inner practices, they knew how to utilize the thought and where to, which button to press. Because just like our human body, you exercise, you cannot exercise your leg and think your hand muscle is strengthening. You have to lift weights with your hands for your hand muscle to strengthen. So also in your energy field, there are certain vibratory fields with which you can work and achieve the results. So a simple just meditation will not solve the problem. That is just the basic. First, you arrive at calmness, and now you already have added so much baggage from the past, and you have already created so many patterns, ways of thinking. You can't help but think negative. Some people can't help but think negative. Some people can't help but they steal. That's a disease. That is why they gave an example from the Gita, where the evil character says to his mentor, I know what is right, I know what is wrong. I am unable to do the right. I am not able to stop myself from doing the wrong. Why? He knew it. Why couldn't he do it? Because repeated actions, those habits created such a pattern of riverbed in them. They are not able to get out of it. You fall in a ditch, you cannot get out of it yourself. You need somebody from outside to help. And that is what the sages realized. Every human being need a guide because people are in a ditch. They need a guide. And so they call them guru, the name that they know. Basically, they are teachers, they are mentors who are helping you because they are good human beings who want to reform. They want to help because that became their natural state of being. Humanness includes compassion, love. It's like apple. Apple is supposed to be an apple. Apple is supposed to be sweet, pulpy. So same way when the divine creation happened, human being is supposed to be in a certain way. And that certain way is supposed to be balanced, compassionate, loving, peaceful, courageous, clear. But we are none of those. From there we fell. But those people who maintained that state of being or arrived at those state of being, for them it's natural that they want to help somebody else. Those are called masters. They have mastered themselves. They are trying to help us. And without that guidance, it's difficult for us to continue on the path. What are they doing is guiding us. And so what happens when somebody is constantly giving it to you? You're grateful. Even if your friend keeps giving you gifts, you're grateful. There is a bond, there is a relationship. And you walk together. You walk together to the same destination. For us as friends, we go to a movie, we go to the mall. For these masters, they walk with us towards this state of perfection, perfect human being, full potency. So that is the journey of heartfulness method, where first you meditate, bring yourself to calmness, then you learn to release these patterns. One exercise is day to day release, and another exercise would be where you remove your lower tendencies. Just like even in the energy, nature's field, in the energy field, things are stored in different places. Like example, in your house, you put toiletries somewhere, you put your clothes somewhere, your umbrella somewhere, your shoes somewhere. You don't mix your shoes with your food, right? You don't put your shoes in the refrigerator. Same way, nature has a system. When the impressions are heavy that we collect, emotions, hatred, jealousy, greed, they're all stored in our energy field, in a lower fields. They're vibratory fields. Ancestors call them chakras. We call them vibratory field. And those vibratory fields, just like if your blood vessels are clogged, are you going to be a healthy person? Just like how blood is flowing in our system, energy is flowing in our energy fields, in the chakras as they're called, the vibratory fields. When those vibratory fields are clogged, your performance as a human being is not positive. Just like when blood is clogged, you get a heart attack, you get a stroke. Same way, when these energy fields are clogged with impressions that we have collected with our thinking, negative thinking, our actions, everything creates a vibration. And when they are clogged, you don't perform well. So, to remove those clogs, there is a technique: cleansing, day to day cleansing, point B cleansing, and to train the mind with positive exercises, positive suggestions, positive intentions, positive manifestations. They have something called a vibratory field A, where you have to meditate at that field, creating a certain intention for it to manifest. How does that happen? It's like when you call, in 30 years ago when we call, there were no phones, there was no lines. We had to call at a particular time. So the person also has to have the ability to receive when we call. It's a communication. So also, when we are sometimes calling for help, we need to know where to call, how to call, which field to call from. So when we are calling in the energy field also, there are certain vibratory fields where you make intentions. And where what we call as a prayer. Prayer is nothing but a call from your heart when you need and when you are helpless. You need to know where to play. And those fields are given. Those are all, they called it as yogic secrets. A lot of people don't give it because if you give it, everybody will become rich. Then there's no value for it. So some of the great masters or so-called worldly masters, they charge you a lot of money for that. But heartfulness is a very pure system. All the techniques are shared freely so we can bring true transformation and the world can really change. Because I remember once I heard our heartfulness leader, Daji, giving a talk to young children. I was sitting in one corner there. And he explained it beautifully. He said, if one atom blast, surrounding atoms blast, it's called atomic explosion by Einstein. If one person meditates in the house, everybody in this house should be affected positively, peacefully. And if 100 people research from the mindfulness people, research shows that if 100 people meditate in an area, 5 miles radius, there won't be any violence. That's how powerful it is, the vibration. So if people wonder, what is this vibration? Is this real or is this hocus pocus? I'll tell you, we walk into a party. Somebody really hates you. I mean, we all have those people, right? You walk into a party, somebody hates you. You walk there, they don't even have to look at you. They're looking somebody else and talking. You're already disturbed. What made you disturbed? You came fine, you meditated, you're peaceful, you went there. Vibration. It is a negative vibration of their thought flowing from their heart, affecting your peace. See, once when my daughter was young, I was giving her the relaxation technique. And I said, oh, relax your knees, ankles. And so, mom, you're going to say relax and I'm going to relax. You know how the teenagers talk. I said, honey, I'm going to call you stupid. How do you feel? I said, mom, that's going to bother me for a whole week. Why would you do that? I said, if you're going to accept a negative vibration, a negative word, and suffer for it, why don't you accept a positive word and relax? That made sense to that girl. And during her entire medical school, she would always call me for sittings. So everything is vibration. Thought is a vibration. Word is a vibration. So even this transmission, which is supposed to be helping human beings in this heartful method, is also a vibration. And it is such a subtle vibration that emanates from the source. At the grosser level, The thought hurts people. But at the highest level, it is a vibrationless vibration emanating from the ultimate source, a master of a caliber because of his refinement of his mind and his energy field is able to tap into that and transmit it. How does it work? You are very hot, summer hot, and you enter into the house air conditioned room. In the beginning, you are like, oh, I'm so hot, I'm so hot. After a few minutes, you calm down. You are cool. And when you're having hot flashes, the room feels hot again. But the condition of the room affected you and you became calm. This is how, when Daji gave the example, one atom blast, surrounding atoms blast. One person meditates in the house, the entire household will change. And if a society, that is how you change. Individual peace leads to world peace. When individuals change, the households change. When each family changes, the society changes. It affects the society. When societies change, your town changes, your country changes, and your world changes. And it all bottoms down to one individual meditating peacefully, arriving at that state of absolute balance. So, this is all the brief idea, the basics of heartfulness. As we go through the next 6 weeks, we will go into the depth of this energy field. What is this energy field? Where are these blockages? And then we will be surprised how a simple technique of 5 minutes in a given day can change us. We want, like that evil character in the Gita said, I'm unable to change myself. There are things that we are unable to change in ourselves. We wonder, I'm good, but why is this happening at this moment? There will be a married woman and suddenly she feels like this attraction towards somebody else and she's wondering, why the hell I loved my husband and married him? Why is this happening? It is happening because there is a vibration inside you from somewhere from the past. So that's just coming out now. You have to release it. If not this person, it is not about the person. It is because it is inside you are reacting. If that is not there, there are 100,000 men in the world. We are not going towards everybody. So this refinement of the human being in I'm only giving you one mundane example, anger, hatred, and all these lower qualities, the sages called it like kama, krodha, lobha, moha, all these words they gave. These are all lower human tendencies that are weighing us down and not allowing the full potency. What is this full potency? It is like an air balloon. You are going and there's so many rocks and the breeze is so beautiful and you want to fly high. And then you realize, okay, I have to drop this rock, drop this rock. And the breeze is so beautiful, you want to drop everything, the heaviness. And then you fly with lightness and that gives you joy. Why does an air balloon gives you a joy? The breeze, the peace, the calmness. So when you start to actually experience those states of being in your individual meditations with the help of this transmission, the vibration from a caliber, a human being who has that caliber to transmit, and when you are experiencing it, this self transformation becomes a beautiful journey. It is not a meditation. Oh, I have to meditate, I have to go for meditation, I have to do my cleaning. Oh, I missed my cleaning. It is not a chore anymore. Because you are experiencing, oh, I'm changing. For me, it's like I look at myself and how much I changed is amazing. I used to be this depressed wreck. I used to have, like Chariji used to, our previous teacher. She has like a tap over there. Anything you say, she starts to cry. And they used to tease me about it, even Daji Kamlesh. Oh, Ma comes, let's turn her tap on. And they would do something and I would sit there and cry. And today, man, the other time when I went, this girl has changed. You can't do anything to her anymore. And I myself am surprised. And with that attitude, I used to always fight with my husband. And I also think he made me cry. Everybody else in this world made me cry. No, nobody is making you cry. Nobody is making you suffer. It's inside you. With a practice, master yourself, and nobody can make you cry. And Heartfulness journey is about this self mastery. And in the coming weeks, we will talk about different topics how to do the meditation. Today is like, why do we meditate? The next, how do we meditate? How do we clean? How do we make intention? What is this prayer? Is it, in this Yoga Sutras, there is a place called um, faith in God. And a lot of times people say, oh, you say Yoga Sutras are not about God realization. Why are they saying faith in God? See, having faith is a positive attitude. If you don't have faith in something, would you rather be depressed and become impotent and not do anything in life? Isn't it better somebody has faith? Oh, my mother will hold me. So the child jumps from the mountain also because it knows mother is holding. That is faith. And so instead of just saying that, they put a word faith in the source, faith in the God, faith in the master. But entire spiritual journey is about a journey of self-mastery. And that is what my understanding is. So if anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask. Yeah, you are able to unmute. You can unmute yourself and ask, or we can meditate now, and you can do the question and answers later. So in this meditation, if you are new to this, we will do a relaxation.
Apologies, Auntie, 1 second. Someone's saying they're not able to unmute themselves.
So one of you who co-hosts in your host tools, you probably block that. In my host tools, they should be able to.
You should be able to. Can you please try again?
Or raise your hand and we'll unmute you, whoever it is, if you have a question.
Someone's just unmuted, I think.
But we can't hear them if they're not speaking close enough to their mic.
Hi, ma'am. Now I can talk. Can you get
Yes.
me?
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
can hear you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Magaru. This is a really great introduction. So I hope my audio is okay right now. Yeah. So it's a really great introduction and a lot of examples and really enabling us to understand why we really need to meditate and how this helps, those really great insights. So I'm also part of this heartfulness. I have been practicing for a couple of years. As you said, it's a great self-realization, a lot of benefits and normal, not only realizing the God, it's a normal daily life also changed a lot. So the way we think, the way we respond, it's a lot of benefits. So I want to encourage the newcomers definitely to experience. And as Daji said, this is experiment on ourselves. We are the experiment and we are the result. So we are to experiment ourselves and we need to wait for a couple of months. People, it's not something it will come directly, right? It will take to see the results. It will take a couple of months to see the difference. So one question I want to ask in terms of like a newcomer, let's say these are the some questions from the newcomers, right? I want to ask from their point of view. So as a newcomer who never meditate, they might be thinking, or somebody who are never even attempted to this meeting or this kind of things, these kind of sessions, they think that, oh, we are also following so many motivational videos, listening to so many speeches of many spiritual leaders and gurus. Right now, if you open YouTube, there are so much thing which is positive. There are a lot of positive content out there. So they might be thinking like how this is really helpful. So why I still need to do the meditation, like whatever the doing something outside is not helpful. So just if you can clarify on that, that would be great. So my attempt to answer that is just like, I think that those are all theoretical. Those are all, to our mind only. It will try to control or, change our thought process. But to really change our behavior, to really enhance our potential, I think the meditation really helped. So similarly, I followed many videos. I read a couple of books to change myself, to control the anger, to encourage my kids. But only thing is, until I deep meditate and reflect, I couldn't even in progress. I couldn't even implement anything out from the video or from the book. So that's the answer I can provide. But if you can extend on that, that will be great. So how this will help? Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
First thing is, there are so many human beings. Everybody has a mother. that mother is unique to each individual. So, in that sense, what everybody is doing, we should respect. They are at that place of their life, at that. It's like your first grade teacher was your first grade teacher. That was very, very important. And then you move on from there. Nobody needs to tell that you need to go to the second grade teacher. When you have learned enough and when you are saturated, nature provides. So it is not for me to judge about anybody. This process is not about what others are doing. This process is for us to introspect what we are doing, where we are, how we can transform. And as we transform, some people may, who are able to vibrate with our level of vibration, will vibrate with us. Those who cannot, because it is not our job to transform entire humanity. First of all, we are unable to transform ourselves. So I don't worry about who is changing or why they're all following. I have so many friends who follow so many things. Like I said, more and more I realize they're all very good people. And it is like once Charji gave an example. One guy was worshipping a little in his own way, and another teacher comes and says, "So there is this river Ganges. You should go dip in it, and you will be liberated." And so the guy goes. First thing he finds is a small pond. So he dips in there, and he's sitting there and meditating. And another guy comes and, "No, this is not Ganges. Further go down there, and there is another bigger that is Ganges." And he goes there. He stays lifetime. So like this, each person comes and tells him, and eventually all die. And when they go to heaven, this person was liberated. Rest of those people were sent back to hell. And they all questioned God, why the hell? I mean, we tried to guide him. They said, you destroyed his faith. Where he was thinking this is Ganges, he was already liberated. You destroyed his faith. Oh, this is not Ganges, go further. This is not Ganges, go further. If he felt from his heart, because ultimately, something ultimate is guiding, the ultimate source is guiding each individual. So if they come to you and ask you, yes, but I don't go try to change anybody's faith, anybody's system, or think that what they are doing is right or wrong. There is good in everything. How can they not be good in everything? If it's not good in everything, how can they be established for so long? And if at all Daji taught us that with the global um, uh, program that he did, where he invited all religious leaders and he respected all of them. He went and bowed down at one point. Like, this guy is crazy. He's bowing down to all these people. No, he shows his magnanimity that he respected everybody's method, and he chose what good is in them. And he hoped that they would take the good in him, which is transmission. Some of them did, some of them didn't. And he didn't criticize those that did not take the transmission because they are at that level of evolution. You cannot teach a child to shoot a gun. It's just a child. So every individual is at their level of evolution. Let them be, they will come. Our job is to transform ourselves. Why am I working on myself? I look at Daji and he was a friend once. I used to argue with him. I used to fight with him. He used to make me cry. And when I looked at him, how much he changed, that inspired me. Oh, I want to change myself. I want to achieve that. I have been in the mission say as long as he is. For record, I became a preceptor before him. He once came to me and asked me, Uma, how many sittings did you get to become a preceptor? I said 3. And he said, what is this man? I got 11 sittings and he's not made me a preceptorate. I said, this guy is fallen guy. My own ignorance. He was being prepared as a master. He has the mastery in him. So if I had judged him at that time, and today I am learning from him. So we don't know. We never know. So our job is to focus on our goal and work on our transformation. And that gives us joy. And because of our transformation, even if we touch one heart, That's good enough. Because at least one person got inspired because you changed and they wish to change. So in Kamlesh's life, even if it was just me who got inspired, his life is fulfilled. But his potency is such that he's touching so many hearts, right? So, but he's not telling, he never told me you did wrong, you're stupid. He never told me that. He could have, just like we telling about other religions, he could tell me you are so wrong in these things. That would have turned me off. But he only gave me love, right? That's what the masters do. A refined person does. And so, what do we learn from that? We have to behave in that refined way where we are compassionate but understanding towards what they're doing at the level that they are and work from there and pray. One thing that works is with a pure heart, you make an intention for them. We will come into those techniques in the. So I gave too much answer for
Thank you.
a small question. Sorry.
Great answer. Thank you.
Go ahead, Shivani.
Uh, Hello, everyone. This is Shivani. I've joined from Virginia. Uh, I love the story, the way you explained it. Uh, I mean, very well connected, and the way you explained the whole, meditation. I'm new to. I'm comparatively new to the system. My question is, where I got more attention is crying part when you said Sistoma. So can you give me some nuggets on how you overcome that?
It will
Because
come in the classes because crying is not good. It is
yeah.
women, for women, it is very difficult to access higher dimensions because of this weakness of crying. And as we learn the techniques where we can make intentions that will transform, and we'll talk about that definitely.
Okay, so it will come in the next
Absolutely.
sessions and okay.
Absolutely. So, see, we have to make you come for the next 6 sessions. If I give you all the secrets, we won't see you next time. So,
No, definitely. I'm gonna come. So I have no doubts about it. I just wanted to, if I can practice or I can, do something about this because
yes, we
this
can
is
all do something about it, and it is amazing. Yes, we will share
okay.
those techniques with you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, Sivani. Welcome. So, shall we meditate now, Namrata?